From an incredible fighting debut to a stunning return to the sport, Jon "Bones" Jones' MMA career spans 3 decades, with more successful title defenses than any other fighter in the UFC. There are so many incredible moments, so these are Jon Jones' most iconic moments. Jon Jones is arguably the UFC's greatest of all time. And let's be real, I'm not going to argue with him, that's for sure. The man has one of the most incredible records of any fighter in the UFC, with 27 wins and 1 loss. But even that one is hotly contested. So despite his trouble outside the ring, Jon has proved time and time again that he has the body, the brain, the skill, and the will to absolutely dominate the octagon. Since making his professional debut in 2008, Jon has shown himself to be an unstoppable force. His very first fight against Brad Bernard only lasted 1 minute and 32 seconds. I mean, come on, man! That's not even how long it takes to cook a Hot Pocket. But it's plenty of time for Jones to open a can of whoop-ass. Jon was obviously ready to prove himself by immediately gaining the upper hand and bringing Brad Bernard to the canvas. Despite some serious pressure and some incredible jiu-jitsu grappling, Jones couldn't quite seal the deal, at least not right away. Once Bernard had gotten back up and started to regain a bit of ground, Jones pulled off this incredible move, sending Bernard crashing once more before raining down left hands, knocking Brad Bernard flat. Jon Jones, who was a rookie in the ring, won his first match by TKO, taking the first steps on his incredible rise to the UFC's GOAT. But just before officially fighting for the UFC, he fought Moses Gavin for the USKBA, or United States Kickboxing Association Championship, specifically in the light heavyweight class. Once again, Jones was able to control the fight early, taking Gavin to the floor, who manages to find his feet. But Jones starts to pummel Gavin again with blow after blow, showing off his incredible Muay Thai skills, and throwing in some spinning roundhouse kicks for good measure. Afterwards, the fight seems to cool off for a little while, Jon Jones almost taking his time to catch his breath. Now, Jones was known for finishing his fights incredibly quickly, but somehow Gavin managed to stall out the rest of the round, and it looked like Jon might have punched himself out. Moving into the second round, Jones seemed a bit more cautious, starting with a couple of jabs, looking for an opening in Gavin's defenses. And after realizing that he had done some damage to his opponent's nose, a few more jabs to the face secured Jon Jones the championship via TKO. And from there, Jon "Bones" Jones would sign with the UFC with a professional record of 6-0, 5 by TKO, and 1 by submission. No one had lasted more than 2 minutes in the ring with Jones. But for this would change when Jones faced off against Andre Gusumau at UFC 87. Gusumau started strong, taking Jones to the wall, obviously rattling Jones a bit, and honestly, who can blame him? But from there, Jon was able to go on the offensive, taking Gusumau to the canvas and keeping him there for nearly 30 seconds. Jones lets up for a moment, allowing Gusumau an opening to get off the ground, but not without leaving some blood behind. With less than a minute in the first round, Jones and Gusumau clashed again, with Gusumau getting caught low by a right knee to the package. Oh, I wouldn't be signing for that delivery. Jones got called on the foul, although it was decided that it was inadvertent, and both fighters continued the fight, with Jones landing his incredible spinning elbow. But Gusumau was starting to pick up on Jones's moves and dodged a spinning back fist with less than 10 seconds to go. Jones and Gusumau continued to brawl for 2 more rounds, going the full 15 minutes. And despite not being able to seal a TKO or submission, Jones won by unanimous decision, winning his first of many fights for the UFC. Unfortunately, Jones's record wasn't gonna remain spotless though, when he fought Matt Hamill. Now, this one is pretty controversial, with even many of Jones's haters disagreeing with the outcome of the fight, because despite Jones's wild personal life, he takes it seriously inside the ring and doesn't need to resort to cheap tactics. The fight started pretty clean, with both fighters taking their time, keeping their distance, and looking for an opening. But with some incredible timing on Jones's part, Hamill hit the floor hard, and Jones began an onslaught, smashing Hamill over and over for a full minute before the ref called a halt to the fight. But while it looked like a clean win for Jones, the referee thought that Jones's elbows were dirty. And yep, you guessed it, Jones was disqualified for illegal elbows, and Hamill was named the winner. This loss is the only one on Jones's record. He currently sits at an eye-popping 27-1. But a lot of people think that this loss to Hamill should have been called a no contest. But still, even when Jones loses, he leaves the other guy bleeding on the floor. While continuing his rise through the ranks, Jones found himself in his first title fight against Mauricio Shogun Rua for the light heavyweight championship. Jones opens with a flying knee, and following it up with a head kick, and taking Rua to the canvas, all in the first 30 seconds. It was a blink and you miss it situation. Once again, Jones was able to work his magic on the floor, leaving Shogun looking rattled. He managed to hang on, and in the second round, Jones tried to finish the fight with another brutal barrage. But it wasn't until the third round that Jones finished Shogun off with a decisive blow to the body, scoring his first championship title by TKO, becoming the youngest champion in UFC history at the age of 23, achieving more than most people his age, and me included. Jones would go on to defend his title 11 freaking times, earning him the record for most successful title defenses in the light heavyweight division, and tying him for the most successful title defenses overall. Now, you don't get to be this damn good at fighting with just strength alone. It takes an incredible tactical mind and some serious composure to remain the champion and to best out the rest of the competition, like when Jon Jones fought Lyoto Machida at UFC 140, his second title defense. Now, Machida himself is an incredibly skilled fighter and looked like he had Jones' style all figured out. Whenever Jones would go for a kick, Machida would time the kick perfectly and score a punch to the face. This looked like it was going to end Jones' reign as champion, until Jones decided to mix things up. In the second round, Jones fakes the kick, throwing a huge left overhand that landed hard. This was the beginning of the end for Machida, who was obviously wobbled by such an incredible move. And it wasn't long before Jones was able to score the win via technical submission, showing us that it takes brains and brawn if you want to stay the champ. Eventually, though, Jones would leave the light heavyweight division behind, abdicating his championship title in 2020 in order to start the process of massive gains in order to compete in the heavyweight division. It took Jones 3 years to prepare himself for his fight, going straight for the vacant UFC heavyweight championship title, fighting Cyril Gane. Now, by this point, Jones had been fighting professional for nearly 15 years, so the big question was whether or not he would be able to make it work against the big boys of the heavyweight division. But despite the hiatus, Jones definitely wasn't slacking off, since it took him only 2 minutes and 4 seconds to dismantle Gane. The match starts off simply enough. Both fighters throwing out a couple of exploratory jabs, sizing each other up. For the first minute, it almost seems like Jones is playing it safe, warming himself up after so long out of the octagon. But then, almost without warning, Gane mistimed a single punch, and Jones pounced. Jones dodges and takes Gane to the canvas, and he has shown time and time again, Jones will mess you up if he gets you to the ground. And with that, Jones proved that he is able to take on anyone, claiming the UFC Heavyweight Championship after 3 years out of the ring. So, there you have it. After one of the most incredible careers in UFC history, Jon Jones doesn't look like he's going to be slowing down anytime soon. From an incredible debut to a stunning return to the sport, Jon Jones has only gone from strength to strength and cemented himself as the GOAT. And these have just been a handful of Jon Jones's most iconic moments.